Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot. I'm Denise, and this reading is to look at the karmic forces in Chief Justice John Roberts' life. I've had a few of you ask about him, so I thought I'd bump him up on the list of Supreme Court justices that I'm reading on. Okay, so forces in motion in his life, his challenges, the karma that he brought in this lifetime to heal, what he's done to get to where he is, professionally. So what he's done in the past. Okay. 2 cards up here for the karma that's hanging over him. And professional future, and personal future. Okay, so give me a moment. I get these all in frame here. Yeah, okay, that's good. And here and here. Okay. Yeah, all right. Make sure everything's in. All right, so with the Knight of Swords, the forces, well, what's going on in his life right now is like things are moving really quickly. This card has to do with sometimes moving too quickly, but it does have to do with courage. It often has to do with integrity. I feel like with him, I feel like this could also be a younger person in his life who he trusts and who brings him information, quickly when he needs it. Just intuitively, I'm picking that up. So I think it's like he can get to the truth quickly. Now his challenge is always to be, just and fair, of course. I mean, that I could imagine. I mean, it would be the hardest thing. I mean, the amount of stress on a soul that is in his position, makes me wonder, how do these people sleep well at night? Because there's a challenge, and maybe because there's so much coming in, maybe there's so much information coming in that he's feeling stressed about being fair, being equitable, of course, making good decisions, and being just. So this makes perfect sense to me that this is here, actually. Now, the karma that he brought in this lifetime to heal, with the 4 of Swords reversed, I think he's brought in this quality of not resting, not getting enough rest. But also this card sometimes, because I remember, from the older texts, it was like social unrest. It's a card of social unrest. But it is a card of being very cautious, and sometimes it can be, new movement after a period of not moving much. So that's interesting that he brought that in to heal. That's really interesting. Now, with the devil reversed, as being in there as well, this is a card, when the devil comes through reverse, that's a card of spiritual understanding. It comes through when the material world is no longer your main focus. So these cards make sense to me together, actually. It's a card of, overcoming greed, overcoming, indecisiveness. And it's a pretty, selfless card. It's like freeing yourself. I mean, we just look at the images here. These people, they can take the chains off anytime they want. Nobody's holding them there. They're there by choice. And when this card comes through reverse, because this card's all about some other forces, or at least someone else having control over you. When it comes through reversed, they're no longer in control, and you've released yourself. The negative forces, the negativity, is gone, because you're no longer in it. You're no longer doing whatever you were doing before that kept you in it. So I think he was probably a fighter for justice in his past life. But he at least brought in some spiritual understanding in this lifetime. So that's kind of interesting. It's like, spiritual law and man-made law come together in this lifetime with him. Okay, so what he has done to be SCOTUS, well, with the strength reversed, he certainly hasn't put himself out there a lot. I wonder how he got into the position. Honestly, this really interesting. Now, also, it could be that there's some unconscious material that he hasn't worked through. But then this card with the Magician, this has to do with, I don't think he was very pushy and very, strong. Maybe he's not the kind of guy who has a lot of, physical, strength, but maybe he's been working on his endurance this lifetime. I wonder. I don't know anything about his past. But, of course, Supreme Court justices manage to, they get to where they are because they've been in law for years and years. They don't just get appointed out of thin air. Now, but coupled with the Magician, now the Magician does take control over what they want to create. This does have a strength of will. There's some weakness of will here, but then there's strength of will here. But this is more of an intellectual card. This is more like your mind that says, I can create just about anything I want, and, as above, so below, that type of thing. And then when the strength card comes, when you go through all the major gateways, the major arcana, by the time you get to the strength, it's about, really opening your heart. So maybe he's had trouble opening his heart, and he tends to rely on his head a little too much. Because there's the strength of intellectual will, but not so much the I don't know if he really pushed to get to the position. And I don't know how he got into the position. If he just kind of moved up the ladder, I don't know. I'll have to look at that. And feel free to let me know in the comments too. But the karma that's hanging over him with the Tower reversed, well, it's like things have come to him, I think, at a great cost. Because this card can be about oppression. So there's something going on. There could be some false, this comes through sometimes when there's false accusations. So there could be some false accusations that's just hanging over him. That's interesting. I have no idea what's going on. And I don't know why you guys wanted me to read on him, because you didn't leave in the comments anything other than just please read on him. I should have said why, but, you know, I didn't need to know why. I just, you know, if enough of you want me to read on the same person, I will. You know, unless it's like Justin Bieber or something. I'm not doing that, but... So anyway, this is interesting, because I get that false, like some false... There's, well, sometimes it's averting a disaster, because straight up this card is a disaster. You know, I mean, it's crisis. So it could be that he's, you know, it's not happening. He's not having a crisis in his life, but it's still, there's something there. There's some close call. And then with this Ten of Swords reversed, would this be like releasing, you know, from a betrayal? Because this card often comes in when there's some, you know, victory that's been won over somebody trying to betray you. It's also a card of like seeking, you know, inner guidance. You know, I mean, you can see this is often the card of like laying on a bed of nails, because you can just see the images. But then it's also, because in the reverse position, you could look at these swords as like falling out of a betrayal. You know, like the being released from a betrayal, being released from a near miss and a betrayal. So I don't know, somebody's got something cooked up against him. That's interesting. So professionally in his future, this is a card of like financial dependency. So I don't know what's going on there. The Nine of Pentacles reversed. It could also be sometimes like a risky situation where somebody could be trying to steal something from you. This could be a loss of you know, substantial resources that have been there in the past, and now suddenly there's this issue. And then we have a loss of relationship here. So something's going on professionally. I do not know what's coming down the pike for him, and I don't know why you guys wanted me to read on him, but this is showing that there's some type of near miss from betrayal, but a loss of it does create a loss of relationship, because this is, you know, the Two of Cups reversed is very challenging when it comes to relationships. It's it could be at the very least a misunderstanding, but a loss of resources is what's coming through here. Interesting. Okay, so personally though, he has a choice with the Lovers, and there's a release from you know, a painful situation at the least, and yeah, but a distraction too. I mean, it's still a loss, whether this card's reversed or upright. We're still in that, you know, distracted kind of sorry place where there's been a loss, and then it can be a card of a painful, just like this, you know, these cards here. You go through something and you get through it, but it's still really hard and painful getting through it. So that's really interesting. I think what I'm going to do is pause the tape and lower the camera so you guys can see the Kipper cards, and I'll do a Kipper reading on him, because I'm thoroughly confused about, I don't really know anything about his past. But I'll use this little end of the century deck that you guys told me, if you can't pronounce it, call it the end of the century. Okay, be right back. Okay, got the cards all shuffled, so let's see what's going on. Chief Justice John Roberts. Okay. So these two cards here will be the theme. Okay, so our theme has to do with well, he's here. He's of course, the official. Well, this is more like his obligations, more his responsibilities. So his responsibilities are weighing down on him. All the rules and regulations, all the responsibilities, like I said, it's hanging over him. Now this, of course, would be the Supreme Court bench. This would be all of them together. All the legal matters that come across their desks, but it can have to do with like somebody pressing charges. It's a card about the whole legal processes of court, and it can also be because it's hanging over this card here. Wow. Okay, so I think this is more just about the judicial process, but it's causing him a lot of problems. Like this is the card. It's called concern here, but it's usually like gloomy thoughts, and it's all about like self-doubt, and it's about feeling helpless, and having a hard time concentrating and getting clear. It can sometimes have you depressed. Like it can be a card of being depressed, but kind of like obsessive thoughts that are constantly weighing down on you. I can't imagine him being locked up and going to prison. I think this has to do with him feeling trapped. I think he might not like his job anymore. Oh, he could be having a health problem. Or someone in his immediate family could be having, that's what it is. Because check it out. It goes like this, these cards knight together, these two. You go either 2 over and 1 up, or, 1 down and 2 over. So like this card knights to these 2 cards here. So that's another piece of information. But let's stick with this one first. He's really concerned about somebody in his immediate circle or immediate family. This is like your home, your own personal private space. And this is like where you do feel secure. This is like, the card of your soul even. But when it comes to timing, it's like present time right now. And my intention was to see the past, present, and the future. But this is, if we're looking at past, present, future, this is still present time. But it can happen like within, 1 day to 1 month, somewhere in there, like a month at the most. And so something's got him really concerned. There's something there. And I think what the something is either a health issue. I think, is it his health issue? It could be, because he does show up here. And, he is an official person, that's for darn sure. And my friend Lisette from Canada, hey Lisette, hi. She taught me this card, when it comes through, it can often mean like it's official. Well, it could be like, yeah, it's official that he could be having a health problem. That has him feeling trapped, like trapped in his own body. Now, his position on the court, on the bench, has been like all of his life, his home life. I think, he probably, well, of course, they're all doing a lot of work from home now. But this is, so this is a health problem that is concerning for him, and it is affecting his work. This is the work card. This is our, everyday work, his occupation, his activity. And it's not going well because with this card, if it's not a health issue, it's at least some kind of a situation. You know what? This card sometimes is retirement because, you're down and that's it. So maybe it's not a health issue, but he's thinking about retiring and staying home more. I mean, they're all working from home now. They're on, they use, like some type of a web interface, video to be able to talk to each other and do all their work. This card here, this is him as a judge, on his position. So yeah, I think he might want to negotiate a retirement. It's possible. It's very possible that he's feeling trapped in his job, and he's gonna, but he's not that old, I don't think. At least he doesn't look like it. But, I mean, I got to read the cards as they come. If it's not a health issue, it's retirement. Wow. I mean, he's not that old, but he's also not that young. Of course, it doesn't matter. I mean, humans can have illnesses at any time in our lives. So as far as the house, let's see if there's anything else here. Family history, sometimes. I don't know if there's like some legal issue with his family. I just feel like he's not gonna stay. Well, I could be completely wrong, but I don't feel like he's gonna stay on the bench, and that's really interesting. So I don't know if he'll be stepping down, retiring, or if there is a health issue. But that's all I've got. I can't, there's nothing else. I can't say anything more. Those of you who read Kipper out there, let me know if I've missed anything, but I don't think so. But I'm open. Okay, well, that's it. Thanks so much. Bye.